Jordan Terrell Carter, also known as Playboi Carti, is the most influential, the most mysterious, and the biggest artist that originated from the SoundCloud era. Along with the likes of Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion, Lil Uzi Vert, Carti would become one of the only artists from this era that would garner mainstream success, a cult-like fan base, imprinting his name in the history of music by displaying that he can sustain a lengthy and productive rap career even though he has only released 2 albums in the span of 8 years. After the unaliving of XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD's overdose due to the fear of being apprehended by the feds, Carti would see a significant increase in his music streams as these two were the most prominent competition from the SoundCloud era.
Tomorrow isn't promised, man, and rest in peace to my man X, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Damn, I ain't gonna hold you, Westwood. That shit blow mine, bro. Like, you know, like he was really a GOAT.
Another prominent and successful rapper from this scene was also Lil Uzi Vert, who happened to be one of Carti's most frequent collaborator, but after a while it would seem as if they didn't want to work with each other anymore, and fans would only speculate that it was because Carti wanted to do a feature with Uzi, but because of label issues, they were unable to do the songs, and then after you would see them working less and less, and you would start to see subliminals popping up.
Yeah, you came back and you fell. Take place, can't be in my face, so now.
Playboi Carti would release a song entitled 2024 on December the 14th, 2023, 6 months after Lil Uzi Vert released yet again another #1 album entitled The Pink Tape, which would see a significant decrease in album sales compared to his previous album, Eternal Atake, that did upwards of 280,000 or 88,000 better yet on the first week in its release. The fans had speculated that Playboi Carti was mocking Lil Uzi Vert due to the significant decrease in album sales, while he has been hailed as one of the most influential artists of this time and also has been highly anticipated for releasing his next album, which fans were practically demanding him to drop after he has been absent for quite some time in the music after releasing Whole Lot of Red back in 2020, even though he has been classed as one of the best artists of the 21st century. In the year 2024, Playboi Carti would release around 4 singles while also simultaneously popping up on a bunch of features for artists such as Kanye West, The Weeknd, Future, and Metro Boomin's album We Don't Trust You, etc. Playboi Carti would also tease his upcoming album I Am Music multiple times throughout that year, but fans were yet to see a release and only singles would pop up here and there, which left fans devastated as this was one of the most highly anticipated albums for the past 5 years. At this point in time, it's safe to assume Playboi Carti withheld his album due to the rap civil war that was going on between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and all the other rappers involved and Metro Boomin, just so he could garnish as much attention as possible as he is aiming to beat Lil Uzi Vert's previous record so he could solidify himself as the king of the SoundCloud mumble rap era. Playboi Carti's mystique has led to him becoming one of the most anticipated and most researched artists of this time, as he would attract upwards of 50 million views on his singles without much promo or really announcing that he will release, while also attaining 51 million Spotify listeners monthly, while having a catalog of mostly music from 8 to 5 years ago, with many of his most prominent singles being songs that have been leaked, songs that at the time of this recording in 2025 have still not been officially released. Fans have even took it a step further with the sale of illegal Playboi Carti leaks that his label had to put a stop to because it was damaging his track listing, as Playboi Carti would usually switch a song if somebody leaked it. Due to this being a common practice, because Playboi Carti refuses to release music even though he records upwards of 24 songs weekly.
24 songs.
After waiting 5 long years, it seems like the fans of Playboi Carti can finally rest and finally be happy that there is an album coming. In the month of September in 2024, Playboi Carti would release some vinyls, merch, and promised to ship out a physical copy of his album no later than 6 months from the date that it was released. That would be considered a part of his album sales, which meant that March of 2025, Playboi Carti would be forced to release the album, and if not, he would have to refund millions of dollars to the loyal customers that he had, or fans better yet. And the weeks leading up to the deadline, Playboi Carti would make a series of posts on his Instagram and his burner account saying that the album would be releasing soon. Fans became excited as Playboi Carti would tell Spotify to drop the album, and Spotify would reply by saying the album is coming, and also make a series of posts in the following days telling fans that they have nothing to worry about and they should have some faith. The popular hip-hop blog page Kirko would announce on Twitter that Playboi Carti would be releasing his album I Am Music on March the 14th, which is a Friday, which also happens to be the deadline in which Playboi Carti has to ship all the physical copies of the album. So it seems as if on this date, the fans can rest assured that they will definitely get a copy of the album, and the album will be finally out after 5 years of waiting for Carti's next drop. Fans that purchased the vinyls, merch, and album copies would take to Twitter to express that they have received emails saying that the items that they purchased from Playboi Carti has been shipped. And Spotify would also post Carti multiple times on their page expressing that the album will be out anytime now. After not delivering on the album in 2024, a lot of the fans started to turn their backs on Playboi Carti. Now this has a lot of people wondering, will this affect Playboi Carti's release? The fans took it upon themselves to make memes such as saying, Playboi Carti will not release until 2034. I'm gonna die before this album comes out. Which one do you think will come first, GTA 6 or Playboi Carti's album? But it seems as if Playboi Carti's actually gonna drop. And being that Playboi Carti will be performing in Rolling Loud 2 days after, where he has become a frequent headliner for the show, it seems as if Playboi Carti is trying to garnish as much attention as possible, as he would like to showcase his album to millions of people that would watch the Rolling Loud concert that is going to take place in California. And quite frankly, this seems as if it's the best possible place for him to do it, as he has become one of the main headliners over the years, being one of the most popular with sold-out concerts, with his super energetic and outrageous performances that always seem to get the fans excited and ecstatic, as Playboi Carti now has a roster of successful artists underneath his wing, such as Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely, who in their own right have become very successful and very sought out when it comes on to these big festivals such as Rolling Loud, while doing tremendously well individually with their albums and album sales, being underground artists, but also carving their own path in music and not becoming just shadows of Playboi Carti, and are becoming more and more significant by the day, with each growing their fan base significantly the more they perform on these big stages. only goes to show that Playboi Carti is very successful and also has the ability to be a pioneer in music that could highlight great talents and give exposure to artists that really need it. But due to his constant collaborations with the most streamed artist on Spotify, which is The Weeknd, it's safe to assume at this point that the trajectory that Playboi Carti is gonna solidify him as one of the best artists of the 21st century.
New Carti album this Friday!